What would Marvel's version of the Legion of Doom look like? Yes, I know the Masters of Evil and the Cabal exist. Even though there is an equivalent of sorts, I still want to make a video about this. And also, 2 of my recent videos have been about Marvel heroes, so I wanted to do this now with a Marvel's villains. In a way, you could look at this video being a Legion of Doom, or maybe even a secret society of villains, another team that DC has. As per usual, there's going to be 4 different teams here, and each team is going to be created using a different purpose and different reasonings behind it. So let's get right into Team 1. This team consists of Doctor Doom, Loki, Green Goblin, Baron Zemo, Abomination, and Super Skrull. A vast majority of this team is very powerful, don't get me wrong there, but it is about manipulation and intelligence. One of the biggest problems with a Legion of Doom that even you feature in DC quite often is some of these characters are so powerful and so smart that they are a little difficult to come up with reasons on why they would even team up in the first place. And I think that's just something you're going to come across with almost any villain team. But some of these characters have relationships with some of the most popular Marvel heroes out there, so this team could be used in the fashion of wanting to take those characters down, but some of these characters also trying to prove that they understand what the world needs more than the heroes themselves. Doctor Doom brings in the leadership, the magic, the technical genius. This guy is arguably the most dangerous villain in Marvel, give or take a couple of other characters. He alone is a threat to a group of people. Imagine what he's going to be now when he's part of a team called the Legion of Doom, which you could also do a little bit of a play on words here, as if maybe Marvel's version of the Legion of Doom is named after Doctor Doom himself. With Loki, you're adding more magic, which makes this team even deadlier, but also his illusion abilities, confusing their opponents and their enemies. For Green Goblin, it's a little difficult because he's definitely the Joker of the Marvel universe, but if you could manage to get him to work on a team like this, Norman Osborn would be able to fit into these plans perfectly, utilizing his Norman Osborn persona more than Green Goblin, at least to the face of the public, making this team look like they may have good intentions, even though they truly don't. With Baron Zemo, he may not have abilities, but he is a master tactician. He's not only dangerous because he adds to the manipulation and to the background scheming of what this team is already good at. As long as these characters have to play on a team, that is Baron Zemo's prime focus. And how would he use those skills to tear down the heroes, their enemies, in front of the face of the world? For Abomination, he is a character who is simply here as brute force, but he doesn't share the same capacity of intelligence or analytics or tactician skills these other characters do. Instead, he is here for the brute strength. He is here to be a distraction. Finally, for Super Skrull, you're kind of combining a whole bunch of things from this entire team into one dude. Strength, intelligence, shape-shifting, different types of abilities, alien tech, and so on. He'll be there to add to the supply of power and genius that they already have. And on top of that, since this team does seem to be very dedicated on control, power, domination, Super Skrull has his own ambitions when you connect it all to that. And he also feels like a Sinestro presence to this Marvel's version of a Legion of Doom. Overall, this team could definitely be looked at as overpowered, which I think is a little hard to avoid. One of these villains is already a threat to 6, 7, 8 Marvel heroes. All of them together, just imagine what they could accomplish. As long as they could all put their differences to the side and agree to work with one another, at the very least until whatever they plan is done. For Team 2, this is Mr. Sinister, Magneto, Selene, Madeline Pryor, Exodus, and Sebastian Shaw. I'm sure you guys notice it, but this was of course meant to be an all-mutant Legion of Doom team. This is a team that threatens all Marvel heroes in the Marvel Universe. This is for world domination, to rid the world of regular humanity and to replace them with the evolution of the superior kind in mutants. With Mr. Sinister, one of the best geneticists out there and a mutant sympathizer in his own ways. This is a guy who has a complete belief system of his own on how the world should look in regards of mutant kind. And he's insanely intelligent and a fantastic schemer, so he's got this. And coming from the fact that he has dabbled in so much mutant genes and even cloning over the years, that's where Madeline Pryor would fit into this team as well, a clone of Jean Grey. She's a little emotionally unstable, but as long as Mr. Sinister could keep her in line, tapping into some of her extremely powerful abilities, it would make this team very hard to rival. With Magneto, you're bringing in another naturally born leader, and in this case, he's not the leader of this team, but you could see Magneto maybe take a small step back if he believes in what Mr. Sinister had to say or believed in himself. But Magneto is also a massive powerhouse and a fantastic fighter and leader on the battlefield. He will be in control of this team when fighting their enemies. You also bring in Selene and Sebastian Shaw from the Hellfire Club, both characters who are extremely power hungry. At the end of the day, they don't necessarily care about mutant kind the way some of these other characters might in their own twisted ways and values, but Sebastian and Selene would be two characters who could join this team because they have been promised their own wants and needs in regards to mutant genes and extra power. Mr. Sinister would 100% know he's got to lock them down and also keep an eye on them, because if they are not getting what they want, you never know what could happen. This team could fall apart. With Exodus, he is loyal to mutant supremacy. That is his driving belief. That is who he is as a character, which would make sense as to why he would join a team that's all supposed to be about mutant supremacy. Also a great combatant, tons of psionic skills. He would definitely be useful in battle as well. Again, this team is filled with extremely powerful characters. You also have some Omega level mutants here as well, which is just crazy ridiculous. This team could be very dangerous to the entire Marvel world, considering it would be about dominating the planet with mutants, removing humans from the equation. The biggest problem about this team is Mr. Sinister keeping all of these characters in line and checked. I don't know if this could be sustainable, and especially too if certain characters like Magneto were to figure out that Mr. Sinister was lying for his own gains and for his own purpose, this could fall apart rather quickly. For Team 3, it's Kingpin, Bullseye, Taskmaster, Kraven, Mystique, and Juggernaut. This was meant to be a mixture of street level and mercenary assassin Legion of Doom, concocted by Kingpin to assert his control over New York City for long term, utilizing characters who absolutely don't mind getting their hands dirty, especially if they're paid enough, or to go after characters they specifically don't like, especially when Kingpin knows that they are the ones who are threatening his rule over New York. You could even imagine this team being a team that Kingpin would use when he was mayor of New York trying to outlaw vigilantes. With Kingpin, you have a character who has an unlimited amount of resources. There is nothing he can't do, can't get, can't accomplish. His information knows no bounds, and his influence to get some of these characters to work with him or work by his side almost is unmatched. With Bullseye, this would probably be one of the first characters to get recruited to this team. He is one of the deadliest assassins out there, especially if this happens to be some form of Battle of New York. You can bet he's going to want to be there to go after Daredevil. Taskmaster is probably going to be used as Wilson Fisk's insurance, just in case if any of these characters were to perhaps fail in battle or during their mission. He could even add double to a character. If Bullseye was giving a character a particular problem because of how accurate he is, now in comes Taskmaster, doubling down on that accuracy, making it even harder to evade as if it wasn't before. Kraven the Hunter, this is almost a perfect recruit for this Legion of Doom, especially if he knows Spider-Man is getting himself involved in his affairs. Just point Kraven at Spider-Man and the love for the hunt will come out, or even to any other hero or character that threatens Kingpin. As long as Kraven knows who he's hunting, it makes this team deadly and Kraven a threat on his own. With Mystique, it's her shapeshifting and her espionage skills that's going to make things very valuable for Kingpin. She could be used as somebody that could get into the heads of their enemies, confuse them, and eventually get these heroes to the point where they don't even really know who they're dealing with. Are they dealing with a real person, or is it just Mystique in disguise? For Juggernaut, pretty obvious. He is the tank of this team. Potentially loyal depending on how much he might get along with Kingpin. This is a character that, especially on a street level tier Legion of Doom, is going to be quite difficult to take down. Overall, I don't think Kingpin would have too much of a difficult time keeping this team in line and making them not just work for him, but to work for the team, considering he could utilize some of the interests of these characters against particular heroes. You're not just fighting for me, you're fighting for yourselves. You need to believe that this false pedestal in which these heroes have been put on can be destroyed. I also think that in terms of power and potential, this is probably the most likely team that could happen in Marvel, especially when you consider how powerful some of these teams I've already built are. The next one is really no exception. Team 4 is Galactus, Silver Surfer, Venom, Annihilus, Ronin, and Enchantress. This is a team built by Galactus that is basically meant to herald planet Earth. So at the start, it would be 5 characters, but when Galactus gets there, it would be 6. With Galactus, again, repeating, he's a world-ending threat. He is not really a team player, so most of these characters on the team would be forced to be working for him. Silver Surfer makes sense because he has been the herald to Galactus quite often. You could even go with Shala Bal if you want, considering they've popularized her recently. Silver Surfer is also an interesting dynamic too because he or she's never really fully evil, and you could definitely play off of that tactic when this team were to show up. With Annihilus, you bring in a galactic threat, and he is willing to see the destruction of anything as long as it means he gets exactly what he wants. Maybe what you do is remove the cosmic control rod from his possession so he isn't so insanely powerful. Maybe he has been promised by Galactus that if you help me here, I will give you the cosmic control rod. Ronan the Accuser, he is just the enforcing tyrant that Galactus would need to start his preparation of feeding off of Earth. His powerful hammer, his military training, and cosmic wars that he's been part of in the past makes him one of the best possible characters here that can prepare Earth for the arrival of someone like Galactus. Especially when you know that Earth is going to be protected by hundreds, if not thousands, of heroes and even villains. I also decided to throw Venom here, very big wild card, and it wouldn't necessarily be null. It would just be a symbiote or a round of symbiotes that would all be deployed on Earth, some of the most powerful heroes in Marvel that would now be taken over the symbiote. I also decided to bring Enchantress into this team as well, because you always need to have a powerful magician or sorceress. I could see her being a deterrent character of kinds, especially to someone like Thor, and maybe has even been promised that if she helps this team succeed in Earth's destruction, they'll be able to move on to places like Asgard and destroy that as well. There's no doubt about it, this team has all the power it needs to successfully complete their goal. I just think some of the stuff that they're gonna have a difficult time getting through is Silver Surfer. Considering he's not all evil, he probably wouldn't remain a pawn in this team. Even Venom, who's to say that some of these heroes wouldn't be able to utilize the symbiotes and go against Galactus and the rest of this Legion of Doom. There is a potential that this team is so powerful, it crumbles underneath their own power. There you go, guys. 4 teams of a potential Marvel's Legion of Doom. I think my favorite teams here are teams 2 and 3. Team 2 mainly because I love mutants. It's one of my favorite pieces of the Marvel Universe. Magneto in my top 3 favorite Marvel characters of all time, and I just love the idea of the mutant gene dominating humans and needing or wanting a world from their perspective that is all mutant kind. Then for team 3, I love Kingpin, I love street level threats, I love the idea of Spider-Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage, all of these other characters in New York City needing to stop the tyranny and control that Kingpin wishes to lead. So those would be my favorite teams of the bunch. You guys let me know the teams I made, which ones are your favorite, and what your Legion of Doom in the Marvel Universe would look like. That is all I have for you on this video, everyone. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and until the next time, I will talk to you all very soon.